Hello classmates and to our Professor Sir Batch. For today's video, we will be discussing to all of you the one of the Canterbury Tales, which is the story of Prioress. Table of Contents. First is author's background, second is characterization, third is setting, fourth praise tag, and last, moral of the story and application. So let's proceed to the next reporter, Miss Buenaobra, who will be discussed to us the author's background.
Geoffrey Chaucer, considered the father of English poetry, he served as soldier, government servant, and member of parliament. He introduced iambic pentameter. He also the first writer buried in Westminster Abbey. The Canterbury Tale is actually a story about stories.
Prologue of the Prioress. The Prioress prologue is simply a prayer to the Virgin Mary, worshipping God and asking her to help the narrator properly to tell of God's reverence and to guide the tale as it is told. The Prioress Tale. Once in an ancient town, there was a Jewish ghetto at the end of a street, in which usury and other things hateful to Christ occurred. The Christian minority in the town opened a school to their children in the city. At the other hand of the same street, among the children attending this school was a widow's son, an angelic 7 years old who was, even at his young age, deeply devoted to his faith. At school, he learned songs in Latin and could sing his Ave Maria and Alma Redemptoris, a song giving praise to the Virgin Mary and paid due reverence to Christ.
One day, the Christian boy walking home from school, he sing O Alma Redemptoris. It's about praying to Mary to help. The Jews hired the murderer who slit the boy through and threw the body into his pit. The widow searched all night for her missing child. She begged for help, but they refused to help her. The Christian boy began to sing the Alma Redemptoris. The other Christian of the city ran to the pit, amazed at what was happening, and sent for the provost.
The provost praised Christ and his mother Mary, and had the Jews tied up. The child was taken up and carried in a great and honorable procession to the nearest abbey. His corpse singing all the while. The local provost cursed the Jews and ordered their death by hanging. Before the child buried, holy water was sprinkled on him, and he began to speak. So after the Christian boy taken up and carried, he's still singing the Alma Redemptoris while his throat was slit. But before the child attempts to bury, the local provost sprinkled holy water on him. And after that, everyone was amazed from what happened to the child. The abbot and abbé questioned him as to how he could sing, and the child answered that the Virgin Mary had placed a grain on his tongue that allowed him to speak. The abbot took the grain from his tongue, allowing him to die, and finally passed on to heaven. The child was buried in a marble tomb as a martyr, and the tale ends with a lament for a young child, but also for you of Lincoln. The story is from a real child martyr, allegedly slain by Jews in Chaucer's day. While everyone was amazed, the abbot and the abbé are the father of their church. Asked him how did he do that kind of impossible thing. And the child says that the Virgin Mary placed a grain on his tongue, on my tongue. But When the abbot took the ring from the child's tongue, the child begins to die. The child finally gets into heaven. And because of that happening, when when the child get buried in a marble tomb as a martyr, and this tale of the lament for the young boy, but also for um, a rich child martyr allegedly slain by Jews in Justice Day, which is you of Lincoln.
Characterization. The Prioress. She was called Madame Eglantin. The Christian boy. A little schoolboy who was 7 years old. The Christian boy mother. She was a misfortune woman who was a widow and left childless. The monk. He was a holy man who tenderly asked the child what was enabled him to sing.
The setting for the Prioress story is the Jewish quarter of town, which contains a small school for Christians. In this town, little boy learned how to sing a Ave Maria and Alma Redemptoris. Also, in this street happened how murder slit the throat of a young boy. And let's proceed to the next reporter, Mr. Caalim, who will be discussed to us the praise tag, the plot structure.
In the introduction, the Prior's Tale is one of the 24 stories of the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. The tale is based on a anti-Semitic legend of unknown origin that was popular among medieval Christians. The Prioress describe how a widow's devout young son is abducted by Jews who are supposedly prompted by Satan to murder the child to stop him from singing the hymn O Alma Redemptoris to the Virgin Mary. One of the Jews slits the boy's throat and casts his body into an open sewer. Miraculously, the boy is still able to sing and thus so until his mother and a group of Christians find him. Provost condemns the guilty Jews to be executed, and before he dies, the boy explains how the Virgin Mary enables him to continue singing after his throat was slit. In the rising action of the story, among the children attending the school was a widow's son, a angelic 7-year-old who was, even at this young age, deeply devoted to his faith. At school, he learned songs in Latin and could sing his Ave Maria and Alma Redemptoris, a song giving praise to the Virgin Mary, and paid due reverence to Christ. As he was walking home from school one day, singing his Alma Redemptoris, he provoked the anger of the Jews of the city, whose hearts were nest made by Satan. They hired a murderer who slit the boy's throat and threw the body into a cesspit. And the climax of the story, the widow searched all night for her missing child, begging the youth to tell her where her child might be found, but they refused to help her or give her any information. Jesus, however, gave her the idea to sing in the place where her son had been cast into a pit. And as she called out him, the child, although his throat was slit, he began to sing his Alma Redemptoris. The other Christians of the city ran to the pit, amazed at what was happening, and sent for the provost. The following action of the story: the provost praised Christ and his mother, Mary, and had the Jews tied up. The child was taken up and carried in a great and honorable procession to the nearest abbey, his corpse singing all the while. The local provost cursed the Jews and ordered their death by hanging. Before the child was buried, holy water was sprinkled onto him, and he began to speak. The abbot and of the abbey questioned him as to how he could sing, and the child answered that the Virgin Mary placed a grain on his tongue and allowed him to speak. Lastly, the gentleman, the abbot took his grain from his tongue, allowing him to die, and finally passed into heaven. The child was buried in a marble tomb as a martyr, and the tale ends with a lament for the young child, but also for you of Lincoln, a real child martyr, allegedly slain by Jews in Chaucer's day.
The moral of the story is clearly to value meekness and faithfulness. Because of the faithfulness of a little boy and his mother, there is a miracle happened to them. And that's all. Thank you for watching.